policy note 10, is that Bill coming in?
I'm coming in.
All
Okay.
right. So this meeting is recorded. I have, so under announcements, I'll call the meeting to order at 7:02. Under announcements, I will note that the select board meetings are recorded. There's a link to the recordings under town offices, select board recordings. Those links will take you to, Northeast Addison TV, neat.com. So,
Can we make sure that the link or whatever gets into the minutes? So if somebody else wants to know, we can refer to it or something.
Yeah, I'll make a note here.
okay,
Thanks.
Oh, hold on.
no, that's fine.
What the heck did I just do? Escape. It's a Chromebook and I hate it. Add
Okay.
link. Okay.
All right. Okay. So our first piece of regular business is to approve the minutes of our last meeting. I can bring those up if you guys want. I do think that John mentioned that there was some things that didn't work. Let's try something else. Let's try this. Aha. John said that there were some issues that he thought could be better worded in here.
I'm trying to call up that email.
It's okay. I think we'll find it.
Did you add the Mary Kate, the votes for the liquor license?
Yes.
Got fixed? Okay.
The one that I remember, John, is that we had, there was a discussion about the contract amendment for Bellwether.
Oh, yeah, well, one was an item that we needed to bring back up because we hadn't warned it. But
Right.
There was another one that there was the wording that I wasn't sure about.
Exactly.
And
So let's, so you're right.
okay.
Under the contract amendment, Bellwether Architects, Bellwether was asking for an additional $10,000 on their contract based on the fact that they had to do additional work in order to get us to the bond vote that they had not anticipated. They held extra meetings. They did a lot of extra work prior to the bond. So I think I would like that to read, Bellwether is asking for an additional $10,000 on their contract to recover costs, extra costs getting to the bond vote. Or I'm sure somebody can word it better than that.
For edits to the bond vote?
Well, it's really just trying to say that it's Bellwether's asking for an extra $10,000 on their contract to make up for the added expenses incurred getting the town to a bond vote.
Well, how about added services rendered to get it to a town vote? Because I don't think it's actually expenses, it's services.
Thank you. I'm not talking very well today, so.
So I'm having the existing phrase of blah, 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 10,000 on their contract to cover additional services rendered
Prior to the bond vote.
in preparing for the bond vote, or?
Yes, that'll be fine. And just,
And then leave the balance of it in there that talked about percentage of cost and still a good
Sure.
deal.
yep.
Yeah.
that'd be
Okay. So I've got that one. The other item was remote meeting policy. And I got to find that in the minutes now.
I've got it up if you want to look on the shared
It's
screen.
toward the top, under the liquor license.
Yeah. So my comment, because I can't look at both, my comment in an email to Steve was, something appears to have gotten a bit garbled in Mary Kate's proposed amendment to item number 1. Quote, M. Kelly proposed that the language be changed to say, meeting electronically, the public body must use tech that allows the public to attend electronically or by any other means whenever feasible. I'm not sure what I was getting at there, but I was wondering if we had if that was the actual language of the amendment or if we have the actual amendment language.
I do have the amended language because we did amend it. You know, we made that change. Let's see if I can.
So I'm actually reading it now, it makes more sense to me, but something, as long as that agrees with what the language, it just, something struck me as off when I read it before, and I'm not seeing it now, but.
Well, let me see if I can bring up the. Remote meeting policy.
You know, maybe John, if you put, it probably was when meeting. If you add the when into the quote, it might sort of read more clearly. So when meeting electronically, the public body must use technology that allows the public to attend electronically or
Okay. Yeah.
by other means, and then
Yeah.
probably comma whenever feasible.
Yeah. So if what is the thing you're displaying now, Steve, reflects that amendment?
I believe it does.
Okay. So
Yeah,
as long as everybody's happy with that, I'm happy with it. It just, I can't figure out why, but at some point it just struck me as a phrase missing or a word off or something. But when I first read it.
I would add the word when into the quoted language.
Yeah. Oh, in the minutes.
Yeah.
Exactly. When meeting electronically. That's the way it reads in the final document as
Yeah.
well. Okie doke.
I actually had one other change under visitors. I noticed on Front Porch Forum that Nate Palmer mentioned that he was listening in on the select board meeting. I didn't have him as a visitor because I only saw Jane on there. I don't know if you want to add him.
Yeah, that would be fine. Please do.
John.
So after Jane Palmer, just add Nate
Nate.
Palmer.
Yeah, it's hard. So like I see Whitney on here and you know, I don't know if anybody else is listening with her, but I have her as, you know, visiting. But
Yeah, so we probably ought to make a point of having people who call in, especially call in because you won't see their video, you might just see a phone number, but make a point of asking people to identify themselves so we can put it in the minutes.
yeah, or maybe like there's Whitney. Maybe just like
half listening.
Oh, okay. Or one of my other suggestions was maybe they could write in the chat function, just say this is Nate and Jane, you know, if they happen to be on or whatever.
Yep.
Just don't want to miss anybody.
Yeah.
Good.
So you caught Jamie's on now too?
Yeah, I've got Jamie.
Yeah, I do not have anybody else, and I did not last time either.
Okay.
Jamie's lurking.
Yeah.
So with those changes,
Well, you know.
I would move to approve the Monday, April 13, 2020 minutes.
There you go.
I'll second it. This is John.
Awesome. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? And abstentions? Good. Thank you very much. All
No,
right.
John, I was gonna say it's the best game in town, but it's the only game.
Yeah, great. My gallery, I've got gallery view on my other screen now, just they get bigger and bigger and bigger. There's Julia Parker.
Hi.
Hi, Oh.
Julia Parker Dickerson.
Dickerson.
Okay.
Yes.
This is with regards to, I think, the butterfly garden. Is that correct? Correct?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Well, we're getting there. We just haven't gotten there yet.
No worries.
I'm glad you were able to get on. Review and approve check warrants. So there's a number of check warrants. This is not working very well for me. It's not. I don't quite know. I included them in the package that I sent out to you. I can bring them over. You know, we can look at them if you'd like. Or I'm not sure. Bill, did you or Mary Kate? I'm just, you know, usually what we would do is we would look at these individually and then sign them.
Right.
I have
so-
reviewed it. I reviewed it.
Can I make a suggestion, Steve, that
Please.
you display the not the detail of each one, but
The front page.
yeah, the front page, or sometimes they have more than one of those front page summary pages. You display that so it's in the recording of the meeting. I mean, people can always go look them up later if they want to anyway, but display that so it's in the recording of the meeting. Maybe we could all just vote here so the vote is on the record to approve, and then we can sign them electronically afterwards. So there's a
Let's
big-
do that. That sounds great. So I guess I would entertain a motion to approve check warrant 00414.
So moved. This is John.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Opposed and abstentions. Okay, so that,
We
yes,
should
John.
we should probably also, the motions and seconds, people should say their name so that somebody looking at the recording who's not familiar knows who it was.
Yep, thank you. The next warrant to be considered is warrant AP, accounts payable number 00422 for $11,632.25.
One comment I have, I'm curious as to why every single time we pay for the copier, there are late charges that are as much as the copier rental itself. On this one, this bill to Marlin Business Bank, the charges for the copier were $135 and the late charges, no, were $150 and the late charges were $135. And we've multiple.
Let's take a look.
The invoice is there, it's in the packet.
It's towards the end, I would bet.
I think so. And it says the bill, copier rental, it says it was paid on April 22nd, or he's going to pay it on April 22nd.
And we're not paying the late charges because that's what Bill is avoided, those late charges. We're just paying the original invoice.
No, let me look. It says the total bill is, oh, I see what you're saying. He has the contract payment circle. Should he dispute the late charges and make them go away?
Bill's been pretty good at doing that, but I think we might have to ask him.
Okay, just wanted to get on the record that they're just going to keep staying there. It's the same company we have our copier with, and we don't really have any problems with it.
Yeah, no, we do. No, I agree with you, but we need an explanation.
So there's a copier rental
Marlin Business Bank is the copier rental. Above it on the warrant is copier usage, and that's based on a number of copies, both black and white and color.
Okay, here I am, and then late fees. Late charges.
Right, current.
Okay, well, Ed, is there a member of the select board that would like to take that as an action item to go talk to the treasurer? Get that straightened out?
I'll do it.
Okay, Paul, that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah,
I assume we're saying that it's okay to pay as long as Paul's happy with that conversation, or
Yeah,
I'm not,
or assuming we pass this, but or it's definitely okay to pay the
I mean,
contract amount.
I would certainly provide a report explaining what the consequences are, but my guess is that it may be the way we process our checks to that company. That's been my past experience personally.
yep. So you know, find out, get back to us. You know, these warrants, you know, I signed on behalf of the select board, so these warrants, the checks already went out, if you will, but we need to find out if in fact we're being charged for late charges and under what auspices and
How to avoid them.
yeah, I'm trying to avoid them. You bet.
No, I have to have a conversation with Bill anyway, so I will take care of that.
Awesome. Thank you.
So I'll move to approve check warrant 00422.
Second by Bill.
Mary Kate moved.
Thank you, Mary Kate. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And
Aye.
opposed? And abstentions. All right, thank you. And the last warrant for our consideration is a payroll warrant. I'm not sure. Maybe this is worth doing, maybe it is not. I certainly, however you, the board thinks is appropriate, since this is now sort of,
Got mail.
it's a recorded meeting, and this is part of the recorded meeting, whether it's appropriate to show people's pay as part of that recorded meeting. In any case, the way he dealt with it was by crossing out the last names.
It's public record. I don't have an issue with it. You know, the public's entitled to that information.
Yep. So you don't think we need to this is Steve. Mary Kate, we don't need to cross out the last names?
I don't think so.
Okay,
It doesn't really accomplish anything anyway.
that's true.
You're the first name.
No. Is there any discussion on this warrant? I would then entertain a motion to approve this warrant.
So this is Mary Kate. I'll move to approve warrant 00427.
Second by Bill.
All right. Any discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 And opposed and abstentions. All right. That is great. Thank you. Overweight permits.
I have all the overweight permits. Sharon has been scanning them and sending them to me. And if everybody wants me to go ahead, I'll just continue to sign the way I do at a meeting. I check for the weights and the insurance.
Yeah.
I-
I wonder if we should, well, I guess the displayed list will be in our minutes, but
Betsy, you already have them, correct?
Yeah, Sharon sent me two yesterday, I believe it was.
Yeah, 2 batches, correct?
Yeah, I got two, but one like 2 days ago and one like a week and a half ago. Does that sound right?
That's correct.
Okay.
This is consistent with how we do it when we're actually meeting in person, so I
Yeah.
think we're okay with this.
Yeah.
Public comment. Is there anybody present who has public comment that they'd like to share with the select board? Okay. Hearing none, I will push on to the first piece of new business. That's the curb cut for B&G Properties. Oh, it did bring it up. I twitched enough to make it happen. So, John, I believe that you and Ben had looked at these curb cuts previously, and I went over and looked today. There's actually two curb cuts. Let's see. This is Silver Street, and there is this is sort of the driveway to the old house. Can you see my cursor? Probably not.
Yeah, you wiggle it
Yeah,
around.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
I can see it.
Yeah, and then they are proposing a curb cut where the basically there's a farm road there at the moment.
Yeah.
And they have been doing a lot of work getting rid of shrubs and whatnot along through here. So the sightlines are actually quite good. I think, we need to make sure that that driveway gets made according to the driveway standards, so that there's a level place for people getting on and off the road. It does slope down some, so it's important that there's a level place. And then the second curb cut is marked, it's staked down there, and it's actually, it's right here. It's right here, and it's absolutely fine. It's a straight road. Sightlines are great. So
When Ben and I viewed this, there was no concerns about sight lines or anything along there.
Yep.
The only thing I wonder is, should we make this, I don't know what the DRB approved when they did this subdivision. Should we include a phrase that says, conditional on meeting our driveway standards and complying with the DRB permit?
Well, I mean, it's easy for us to add that to the curb cut.
That's what I meant.
Yep.
Does it matter as a condition on the curb cut?
Wouldn't that be their responsibility to establish that information for us to look at? I mean,
well, they haven't constructed a driveway yet, and
no. I'm just saying, I just want to know, is that part of their responsibility that we just oversee?
It should be. This one was a little odd because when they first came in and they asked for a right-of-way, work in the right-of-way permit. And then the question was, well, should it be a curb cut? We did not grant them a curb cut because the DRB had not said this is where they're going to be yet. So we gave them a right-of-way permit, which is kind of basically a temporary way to get on and off the property.
Yep.
Because we didn't want to issue a curb cut and then have the DRB say, no, that's not where we want it. So we didn't give them permanent permission. So now the question is, without actually pulling up the DRB paperwork, is what they're proposing here what the DRB approved. By adding the phrase, conditional on it meeting the DRB permit, we've covered ourselves there.
okay.
So this doesn't establish a precedence as far as overlooking the DRB's evaluation?
Well, I think it's establishing that we are deferring to the DRB's evaluation by including that phrase.
Okay, that's good.
That was my intent anyway. There might be a better way to phrase
it. That's fine. I like that.
Hey, John, Jamie. So we have so far on the DRB approved the preliminary plat, which I do believe has the curb cuts in the same positions.
Yes, it does.
Thanks.
This is Mary Kate. I just had a question. So one looks like a curb cut to one house, but the other one is a curb cut to a road that connects to a number of houses.
Yeah,
Is
about
that,
six different houses.
yeah. And so there may be different standards for the one that's just a driveway versus the one that is a road connecting to several. Is that, maybe Jamie can? Is that a different, does it need to be built to different specifications? You know?
Not an expert, Mary Kate, but I think that is generally true, especially at the end of those sections where there has to be room for larger equipment like a fire truck to turn around.
Right.
That's different from single home driveway. So yeah, I'm not sure that it applies so much to the width of the driveway or how it's constructed in general, that larger driveway, but the ends of it certainly have some requirements where there's more than one house on the, or three houses or something like that on that driveway. I do think all of that was considered by the DRB.
Yeah.
So John's language makes a lot of sense.
Yep. So I put that conditional to meeting DRB permit requirements. Does that sound right, John?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll try and keep my little list of action items that I have to take care of. I think there'll be a bunch. All right.
See if you need a motion for that.
I do. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
So I just have a quick question. So the motion is just you're going to approve the curb cut conditional to meeting the DRB requirements. Okay.
And meeting the driveway standards.
Requirements and meeting driveway standards. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Did we say driveway and road standards? Because there's some
Right.
question whether that
Okay.
multi-house driveway is a different
Yeah.
standard than a typical driveway standard.
Yep.
Yeah, or I was just gonna say access, but
Yeah, we've been doing a good job backfilling some of our missing policies. And VLCT has a very nice road access policy that we might want to consider in the future.
Yeah.
Okay. All those in favor of approving the curb cut for B&G properties the curb cut on Silver Street, 2 curb cuts, please indicate by saying aye.
I don't think anybody made motions.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
Sorry.
there was a motion.
This
I
is
will
John,
wait.
I'll move it.
I second it. Paul Lowe.
All right. Thank you. All those in favor of approving the curb cut, the B&G properties, 2 curb cuts on Silver Street, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And
aye.
Aye.
and opposed? And abstentions?
Abstain by Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
Since there's an abstention, we need a roll call vote because it's not unanimous.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know,
that's okay.
but you got to do it.
No, that's fine. Betsy, do you want to call the roll or do you want me to? I'll call it.
Oh,
That's
I'm sorry, I could do it. I had to unmute. I'll do it. Steve Pilcher,
Aye.
John McNerney,
Aye.
Paul Lowe,
Aye.
Mary Kate Kelly,
Aye.
and Bill Martin.
Abstain.
Good.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
Yep.
All righty. And Bill, what I'll do is I'll put the conditions on here and then I'll send it to you and you can send it around for everybody to put electronic signatures on.
I will do that.
Excellent news. Thank you. All right, what's next on the good agenda? It's time to talk about the proposed butterfly garden. Let's see, here we go. And Julia, if you're still there, we're ready for you.
Hi.
There you go. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for having me today. I guess I kind of don't know where to begin. I planted a butterfly garden at the corner of Lewis Creek and Moncton Road last year, and it really has been quite successful. The increase in pollinators in that section, decrease in litter, and community appreciation has really been pretty astounding. And I have to admit, I run by this little triangle patch of grass almost daily. And I see it as an opportunity to raise awareness about the decline in pollinators in our community. While we have a lot of open space, we still have a list of plants that are in decline that support butterflies and bees and all of the pollinators that we need. I've had quite a few conversations with residents on Roscoe Road specifically to talk about their interest in building this garden. And folks seem kind of excited about it. I know that there is some concern about drivers going right through the intersection, and the location is you know, it's challenging. It's small, but it is designed to move traffic down Road Tex and down Roscoe. So I'm hoping that we can really just beautify this section and make a statement that these things are important to this community. So I have a list of plants to put in, several native plants that attract pollinators. I am a master gardener, so I'm using their resources and working with other partners in the Master Gardener organization, as well as folks in the neighborhood. And the conservation committee was just awesome to talk to, and they they seem pretty enthusiastic. So here I am.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so what's your ask from the town? Are you just looking for permission, or are you asking?
Yeah. Yeah, just approval, that everybody's okay with it, and that that what my intentions are. So I certainly don't want to put anybody in a position, especially the road crew, that they won't be able to plow in this area. Certainly that's a concern. The garden would be placed towards the center, so it's going to be smaller than the designated grass space. And I think the other important thing to note is that I'm going to be using compost and manure in that section. So just so you're aware of any environmental impacts. Of course, you know that there's a lot of horse farms in that area too. So.
Great. Are there any questions from the board?
Yeah, this is Mary Kate. Julie, this seems great. My only concern would be whether any of the plants would impact sight lines. I see you've got, some heights on what you're looking to put in there. And I don't know whether it makes sense to just run that by Ben in terms of any sightline issues.
I would be happy to. I'm going to try to keep plants under 3 feet and under for the most part, aside from the coneflower. So that's what I did at the intersection of Lewis Creek and Moncton Road. It seems like as long as I don't plant something like a plume poppy or a sunflower that's like 8 feet tall, we want to be able to see. That's I want people to slow down, stop and smell the flowers, but also make sure they're not hurting anybody. There's a lot of cyclists and runners and people who walk those roads, so I'm definitely mindful of that.
So Whitney, this is Paul Lowe. If you're going to say that the garden is going to be similar to Moncton and Lewis Creek Road?
Well, so there'll be some shared plants, so some echinacea, some things on the list here, phlox.
But I'm saying excuse me, in elevation, in height.
Yes, so under like 3 feet and under, ideally.
Okay.
Is that by the covered bridge in Charlotte at the end of Covered Bridge Road?
Yeah, Covered
Okay.
Bridge Road from the
Just for
Moncton
the
side.
minutes. Okay, yeah.
I do have one question. I recognize for the most part they're under 3 feet. I'm kind of still wondering, a person in a low car spotting the view that you had in one of the pictures. Imagining I'm sitting in a car there with 3 foot high plants. And I see oncoming cars or bicyclists or something. If I've only got a 1 foot setback from the edge of that road. And I don't think that's a showstopper. It wouldn't stop it, but if it becomes a sightline issue, they may have to mow more than a foot back from that road.
Yeah. I mean, that's if the garden becomes a hazard, for sure, I would say let's mow it down. There's no. My intention is certainly not to endanger anybody. It's really to beautify and help the community. So, certainly, I will do my best to keep all plants, minimal in height. There are some limitations, of course. There's some plants that attract butterflies that are 3 feet tall, and that's just, that's kind of what it is. I can certainly look into plants that are under, 2 feet tall, but I also want people to not, run it over.
I'm not objecting at all to your plant selection. I just wanted you to be aware or not be disappointed or something if that area right next to the road becomes a hazard. Instead of 1 feet, they might have to mow 2 feet back. So it's not a surprise to anybody.
Are there any stop signs at that intersection?
There are not.
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
I don't think so.
There's a yield.
Yeah, there's
A yield from Roscoe onto Rotax, heading into Moncton from Charlotte. And then I don't believe there's a yield sign in the other directions in any way.
No, there is not.
Correct.
So I'd like to ask, as a citizen, I guess, but I also take the minutes because people may be wondering, is this all going to be done with volunteer funds? You're not asking for any funds from the town?
No, I won't be asking for anything. Actually, quite generously, a few folks have already given me donations, monetary donations, and welcome the use at the site if approved. So to Horsford specifically. And I also have been working with Julie at Red Wagon Plants, who has generously supplied a number of plants for the butterfly garden at the Quinlan Bridge.
Nice. Okay. I don't see, doesn't sound like there's any objections to it. I don't really think you need a motion from us because you're not really doing anything unless the board disagrees.
It might be good just in case somebody in the area says, what do you think you're doing? Which you can say she's had authorization from the select board.
Okay. John, do you want to propose a motion?
I move to approve the proposal to plant a butterfly garden in the intersection of Roscoe and Rotax roads.
Thank you.
Second by Bill.
Thank you, Bill. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? And abstentions. All right. Julia, thank you very much. We're really excited, and I can't wait to see what happens.
Thank you all so much. I appreciate it.
You bet.
Thanks, Julia.
Okay. Okie dokie. No, cancel, go away. All right, where are we next? We're on appointments. Whitney can join us. Hey, there you are, Whitney. And I will tell you that I had somebody call me today, was interested in the planning commission, the open planning commission slot. A fellow not by name of Gary Strait, but I thought it'd be better to take that up at our next meeting. I think we have a full boat tonight. In any case. And Whitney, you want to be on ANAC? Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, there we go. And I think John, if I recall correctly, the only slot that's left on ANAC is an alternate slot. Is that true?
Yeah, let me pull up that directory for a second here. Yes, we have an alternate slot expiring in March of 2021.
Okay. So let's do this piece first, which is pretty easy. So Whitney, what it means to be an alternate just means that when it comes time to vote, and ANAC doesn't take a whole lot of votes, but they do when they get ready to approve projects and stuff. You're only eligible to vote if there's a member missing, or two members missing, really. There's another alternate already on the ANAC committee. But, you know, I know that the ANAC committee is looking forward to the energy that you bring to the process. Do you want to say a couple of words?
I mean, being an alternate would be probably perfect. This would be the first committee I've served on, but I've been a resident of Moncton for 5 years now. We live on Tyler Bridge Road, and just gotten to know, you know, some folks in the town, and I grew up in a very similar community, and just always wanted to participate in volunteerism, and just kind of wanted to expand on that. Seems like a weird time like, to do it, you know? But yeah, I would just love to, you know, participate more in, you know, town discussions.
Awesome. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing none, then I would, my understanding is, Whitney, is that you've already been to several, one or more ANAC meetings?
Yes.
Yeah. And they were happy.
I was muted when you asked about questions. I just wanted to comment that I've heard from two members of the committee who were both strongly in favor of the appointment.
Nice. Good. Then I guess I would entertain a motion to appoint Whitney Lighton to the ANAC committee.
This is Mary Kate. I move to appoint Whitney Leitner to the ANAC committee.
This is John McNerney. I'll second, and it's Layton, but I guess you've probably already got the name, Betsy.
There we go. Thank you. All right. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 And opposed and abstentions. Okay, all set. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys so
You
much.
bet.
Thanks.
Yeah,
For
welcome,
your
Whitney.
service ahead of time.
Hopefully we'll see you in the flush soon.
All right, that'd be awesome.
All right, take care.
Yeah, have a good
Bye-bye.
evening.
Bye-bye.
Okie dokie.
So we do have one other appointment.
Please.
John Brace had indicated, well, first off, I just want to comment for Betsy that was for a term expiring, balance of term expiring March 2021. Actually, I can fix it in the minutes if you just get the name down. But on the Recreation Committee, John Brace, we hadn't heard from him. He is still interested in serving on the Rec Committee. We've got no email for him. The Rec Committee communicates with him by phone, so, but he's very interested. So, and Stephanie Murray said that he's been very active on the committee.
Good. Again, I would, he's already been working on the committee. He's done good work. I think we should reappoint him.
So I will move to appoint John Brace, reappoint John Brace to the term expiring March 2023 on the Recreation Committee. This is John.
Second by Bill.
All right. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Aye. And opposed? And abstentions? All right. Thank you very much. I am looking for, I am surprised that I don't have it.
No.
I don't see the, no, it's not the note. I'm looking for the bid from Brian Barrows to do our mowing. And I swore that I swore that I had put it together. Sugar.
It wasn't in the packet that you sent.
That's what I was just realizing.
But Steve, if you have it on your computer, this is one of those things, it's not that complex a document. One of those things that we tried to leave at the discretion of the chair, that you could submit a document that wasn't available ahead of time.
Let's just see if this is it. Here we go. Here is the Brian's Lawn Care. The bid for mowing seems it's the same as it was last year. It's $4,000. Mowing and trimming as needed for the 2020 season. Town Green, Pond Cemetery, Lane Cemetery, Barnum Cemetery, and the Grange Cemetery. Now, personally, I think it's a steal.
Yeah, I just comment to those who haven't been on the select board when this has come up in the past. Every time it's gone out for bid, he's been by far the lowest bidder.
Oh, I have been on the number of years of the rec committee.
Oh,
There's nobody that will ever come close to his bid.
Yeah. And he does good work.
Did the issue last year with the broken memorial bench get satisfied to the widow's satisfaction?
I presume so. I never heard any more about it.
And I didn't either. Okay.
She had contacted me initially, just because she used to live on my road, May and I. And I don't know what ended up happening with that, but I did touch base to say that, yes, there's been in contact. He's contacting his insurance to move with it. Never heard another peep out of her, so I'm assuming she's satisfied, because she would have let me know if she was not.
Sounds good. Brian was very good. He called me within 20 minutes of it breaking.
Yeah.
To let it own up to it.
Yeah. So I would entertain a motion to approve the mowing bid from Brian's Lawn Care.
So moved by
Mr.
Bill.
Scott. I think we had 2 moves. I'll change mine to a second.
Perfect. Thank you, John. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 And opposed and abstentions. All right, that one's easy. I note that both Kathy Nolan and Ben Howardell are here. I asked them both to help us with this 5-year capital plan. So I thought I would skip over the intervening agenda items, and we'll go to the 5-year capital plan, and then we'll come back after we've dealt with that issue, if that's amenable to the board.
Sure.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, let's see. Here we go. So if I understand correctly, this is a result of Kathy and Ben sitting down trying to determine, so as part of the bond application, I'm asked to tell them about what capital expenditures we're going to have over the next 5 years. So that prompted this discussion. Kathy, do you want to take us through it, or Ben? I don't care, either one.
Up to you, Ben.
Go ahead.
Okay. So Ben and I talked about 2 different types of capital expenditures that are going to be needed over the next 5 years. The first set is the infrastructure. We have the 5 projects, 2 of which will be partially funded by FEMA, and the other 3 we need to either pay 100% ourselves, the Wheeling Bridge, and then get state grants on the other 2. So let's start with the Wheeling Bridge. This assumes that right now it's a Category 3 road, that we will be able to change it over to a Category 4 road, so that all that we will need to build is a one-way driveway into Ken Wheeling's house. And I'm not exactly sure exactly what needs to be done to make it a Category 4, other than the select board needs to warn it, and then there needs to be a vote at the select board
It's pretty involved, and we have a number of these on our plate at the moment. But yeah,
if we can't get it to a Category 4, then we're in Category 3, and the cost of rebuilding a full bridge on a Category 3 is $300,000-$400,000.
yeah,
So at least 10 times.
yeah. So we will make that happen.
Well, to be fair, I'm sorry, we do have this. We have a 2-year, I guess, grace period. Once we can do a temporary repair on that current culvert.
Yep.
So that's we haven't done that temporary repair yet. So that's a 2-year, possibly 3, depending on when we do the temporary repair.
Okay.
Before the state will mandate that we have to permanently repair.
Okay.
So that date might be able to be moved from 2020 to 2022, 2023.
I'd like to do the temporary measure this year just because it's pretty unsafe down there. But
What's the amount for the temporary measure?
We actually already, last year, we had an extra piece of culvert from the road tax road job that we cut. So we purchased the culvert to do the temporary measure last year. So we just have to do the work. So it'll cost us fuel and whatever. So virtually nothing.
Great.
So there's no additional cost in the budget if we just do the temporary.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Then the next two are the Piney Road restoration and the Mountain Road culvert. Those qualify for FEMA, I think. We haven't gone through the whole process. The Piney Road restoration involves just bringing the road back to what it originally was, not any expansion or anything.
Yeah.
That's all we can get under the FEMA grant.
Yeah. Hey, Ben,
Yes, sir.
where do we sit on the FEMA stuff?
I have submitted everything for to jump ahead, the Mountain Road culvert, the temporary measure that Parker did for us. I've submitted all of that paperwork to Kelly O'Brien.
Yep.
And that haven't heard anything back, but that's all in. And as far as Piney Woods Road, we're just waiting on a site visit before we do anything there. So to be determined, because I believe that they are not allowed to do in-person visits until at least the 15th of May.
Yeah.
Possibly longer. So it may come down to us just having to do it without a site visit, but I'd really rather have that so we can make sure we get all our money.
Yep.
But that's it. We haven't done anything with the large cost on Mountain Road. We haven't done anything with yet at all.
Yep.
They haven't done a site visit there either, FEMA.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Okay, and then the other two culverts need to be done because we don't meet the current requirements of what culverts need to be under the new rules after Irene.
Yeah.
And we believe we can get grants. I don't think we weren't approved for the Bristol Road yet, right?
No, that's what we are approved for.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're approved for the Bristol Road.
We have that.
Church Road culvert the paperwork hasn't been started yet.
We won't be eligible for a grant there until we use the grant for Bristol Road, if that makes sense. So we have to use that one first.
Okay. Is there any delay that we can do on those, or those need to be done 2021?
The Bristol Road, we have a deadline just for the actual grant funding.
Yeah.
So that one, there is a schedule we have to meet. As far as Church Road, we'll have to patch it, but it's possible that we could hold off on it.
Okay.
The Bristol Road, we can't. Or if we don't make it the deadline, we lose the grant money.
Okay, and what's the deadline? Do you remember?
I believe it's October. Actually, it's probably June 30th, 2021, the end of the state's fiscal year. I don't know that for certain, though. I apologize. It's definitely 2021, I can tell you that.
Either October or June.
Yeah, I'm guessing probably June because that's the end of their fiscal year.
Okay.
Can I ask a cash flow question? At some point, I think it was you, Ben, mentioned to me that FEMA sometimes takes forever to pay.
Yeah, I've very limited experience, but the one example of experience, it did take a little while to get money back.
Okay. I only asked because we may need some kind of anticipation note, or well, especially for the big one, if they delay like a year or something, whatever, we're gonna need to do something, make moves to cover that.
Yeah. Although Steve had said to me, and I'll let him speak for himself, that the FEMA people were fairly ready to fund it, right?
Yeah. Apparently, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
We have the paperwork in. There's no reason, Ben, that they shouldn't pay us for the work we did already on the mountain road, right?
Correct, but I was under the impression, and I will admit that I haven't asked this specific question, that we were gonna get one check for each project, so they divided into two projects, right? Pine Woods.
Yeah, yeah.
We get one check for Mountain Road that covers what we've done and what we plan on doing. But I could be wrong about that. I haven't asked. That was just the understanding I had.
And
But I can easily call Kelly tomorrow and figure that out.
We should probably figure that out, right?
Yeah, that's I can call Kelly tomorrow, no big deal.
yeah, and can I ask a question of Steve?
Sure.
When they said they were ready to cut the check, that I assume was pre-coronavirus, right? Well, when was that?
So I mean, when Ben and I went to, I don't know how to call that, an orientation, and, there was pre-coronavirus, which is, what's happened is they shut down all of the site inspections.
Yeah.
They have a pretty straightforward process. They've got a nice portal. You dump all your stuff in there, and you have an initial visit, then you have a more in-depth visit with sort of a program manager, and then they have someone come out for a site visit. Well, that's where we're at. We're hung up on the site visits.
Yeah, the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because the funding, they're also now in charge of stuff related to the coronavirus. And so the funding, it could take longer as itself, even after they get
It's a previously declared FEMA disaster. I don't know how they really salt the money away. You would hope that I get this amount of money for this thing, and I can't really touch that money. I need to go back and get some more money for this next emergency. I don't know. We'll find out.
We'll find out. Okay, then the second set is for the capital equipment and Ben's estimate of costs, what we get for trade-in, and purposes of the schedule, I've assumed that we'll be able to finance 100%. We don't get for trade-in, except for the two pieces that are used equipment.
Yeah.
And we sat down and tried to figure out what dates that Ben thought he was absolutely going to need to buy, new pieces of equipment. But I'll let him speak for himself.
Yeah.
I think it's important to point out, I think those numbers are pretty high. I wanted to err a little bit on the cautious side, but I think I can't explain why, but I'm not having great success getting numbers. I think probably because whether it be COVID or, folks know we're not going to buy anything right now, so they don't really want to do the work give us a quote for something that we may not buy until 2021. But this is my best estimate based on just comparable stuff that I found online and just talking to folks that I know in the business. So that's what we're at.
This is Mary Kate. I just had a question. How does that compare with in the town report, the capital expenditure schedule for capital equipment?
Well, I don't have a town report in front of me, but a couple of things are pushed back even from that most recent published version. I think at least the tractor, the tractor and the backhoe were scheduled for this year, which isn't going to happen because we didn't budget it.
Okay.
I think that most recent published capital plan shows backhoe and roadside mower as 2020.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's the backhoe was 2020 and the road grader was 2020.
Oh, yeah. which will be pushed back.
Yeah.
That's not
So
good.
the thing that I think the only piece there that scares the hell out of me is the road grader. And,
I think that's, to be fair, I think that's that 400,000 is a real high number. But I never bought one, so I don't want to be, I don't want to be.
well, so I'm sorry.
You
I
have
think
no
we-
trade-in value for our current road grader. Isn't it worth anything?
I'm sorry, say that again, sir.
There's no trade-in value for our current road grader. Does it have no value?
No, I think it does. I just honestly don't know. I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? I know
There's
that.
no zero at the question mark.
Right. Yeah, I think the only comparable town to us, size-wise, age of the machine, hours of the machine, was the town of Richmond that just bought a new machine last year, and they got, I think, in the neighborhood of 60,000 for their grader. That's the identical model and identical year of hours, but it was not. Ours is in a little bit rougher shape than theirs. So 50, 60,000, something like that.
Is that where the $400,000 number came from? The Richmond purchase?
Yeah, I think but they got a lot of stuff that we wouldn't get with it. But I think their total purchase was like 33,000 or something like that with their trade-in.
Wow.
So why do we have 400,000 listed here? Is there some number why did you come up with that number?
Like I said, I just want to go high because I don't want to put 200,000 and have it be 300,000. I'd rather err on the high side. I mean,
Well, yeah, but if Richmond,
The
Go ahead,
330
Ben.
Richmond had was after trade-in, right?
yeah. And that's all word of mouth. I mean, I don't have any paperwork.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh.
the
330 plus the 60,000.
the gross amount was close to 400.
Right.
well, I guess we need to explore facts on pricing rather than suggestions.
Right.
Yeah.
But like I said, I can't, it's hard to get a hold of salesmen when COVID shut down sales departments. You know what I mean?
Oh, I understand that completely. So this may not be a great time to do this.
Right. And all that stuff isn't like, heavy equipment's not like a car. They don't post MSRP online, or else I'd just take it off that,
No, I understand.
So it seems like a good conservative estimate for the purposes of applying for the bond. But maybe after COVID, take another look at these numbers and make adjustments.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, it would be, yeah, it's going to be, no matter when we do that, that's going to be a very hard pill to swallow.
Well, the other thing about that is when we had last year the head problem on our current grader that cost us whatever, we didn't talk numbers or anything, but I was talking to the Nortrac salesman, the John Deere salesman, about they have some pretty generous municipally directed lease programs for those types of pieces of equipment. So it might be worth looking into that, to lease a machine for 7 years that won't cost us that much money.
It's still going to cost us a lot of money.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, they're not giving them away, that's for sure.
That's fair. Yeah.
But I'll certainly look into it.
Okay. Yeah, it drove me to go look at used graders. That's where that number was. I was like, whoa, that's a big number. So, all
I
right.
think Google said, when I Googled it, Google said anywhere between 60,000 and 800,000. So
Yeah, that's a pretty good spread right there. I'll take the 120,000 one thing. Anyway. All right. Good. Is there anything I don't need to put hard numbers into this proposal and okay.
I had a couple of questions further down, unless you're about to get to those.
I'm not, please.
The Mack truck, what's the year on that one that we have now?
2013.
Okay.
So it's been, well, it's a 2013 model year, been in service since 2012.
Yeah.
So this is,
Yeah.
this is
So
winter
that-
eight.
That's its expected 10-year life that you're showing there.
Yeah.
And the pickup truck, you picked up a cheap used one. Is that one dying or?
No, but I don't think it's gonna, I mean, it's not a Cadillac. I don't, it's gonna be, in a couple of years, it's gonna be ready to go, I think.
Okay. And dump truck?
That's the Ford, the small Ford F550 we have, the
Yeah.
single axle.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's the furthest one out, 2024.
Yeah.
I think that our current one's a 2016.
You mentioned it's been getting quite the workout this year.
Yeah, it had a hard winter. It earned its money this winter. That truck did.
All right. So, I mean, the grader, I'm just going to circle back to the grader. As I remember, like 2 years ago, we had a transmission problem that cost us like $35,000. Last year, we had a motor problem. I don't remember what that cost. I'm thinking.
About 7,500.
Oh, is that right? So that's not so bad.
No, that wasn't too bad.
Yeah, you know how it is. It's like I'm going to try and keep pushing that charge out as far as I can. I think that it's good to know about because it means that we will be very judicious about using the capital equipment fund. Anyway, and we'll discuss that one. That one's coming up in a little bit too. So, all right. Is there any other questions for the capital, the capital 5-year capital plan? All right. Thanks, guys.
All set then?
Yeah, all set. Thank you.
Have a great night.
You
Here.
too. Oh, nice beard, by the way. Beard mustache. I like it. You look like a little druid or something over there. I don't know.
My COVID beard.
There you go. Very nice.
Take care, all.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good night.
All right. Oh, that's gone. Oh, don't stay. Go away. Just go away. Go away. All right. Sure. So, orders drawn by municipal. Let me just take us through this one a little bit. Let's see. If I do this, it comes up here. So the Vermont statutes regarding the question is how our current policy is one or more members of the select board stops in and signs a warrant to allow Bill to actually send those checks out. And so we just need to make sure that we're following both our policy and the legal, the Vermont law. And as I understand it, and Mary Kate can guide us on this one. Let's see. But this is the way the law reads. The select board may do either of the following: authorize one or more members of the board to examine and allow claims against the town for town expenses and draw orders for such claims as the party is entitled to payment. That's one. The order shall state definitely the purpose for which each is drawn, and that's what I think the warrants and the invoices show. And the select board shall be provided with a record of orders drawn under this subdivision when orders are signed by less than a majority of the board. So Mary Kate, does that? I mean, I
Yeah.
think we're okay signing under one, are we not?
Right. But our And then I also looked at our policy, right?
Yep.
And you and I touched base about this a little bit, and the policy says that they can be signed by one or more authorized select board members. And so I think we need a motion to authorize one or more members to sign.
I think that'd be great. I think that there was such a thing back in dim history, but no members of the select board were around at that time.
Yeah, and you know, maybe you need to authorize specific people each year because board changes.
I
Right?
think that's a great idea. That would be part of, our regular organizational meeting.
Yeah, I think
Good.
that makes sense.
Could we authorize the titles, like the chair or the vice chair or something like that? Or do you think it's something we ought to do each year?
Titles works too.
Yep.
And the question is, are we okay with just one person signing it and going, or do we want to require two?
So we've just been doing one. I'm fine with one.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
one covers the accounting thing, which is somebody else's eyes are on it besides the guy cutting the check.
So yeah, I'm fine with just one. I will say our policy in reviewing it requires three things. One, a motion authorizing somebody, one or more members to sign. And then there's supposed to be a certified copy of the minutes from the meeting when the select board approves it to the treasurer. And then, yeah, and then a record to the select board.
Yeah, so I think actually I think what got written for our policy is more stringent than what the law actually is.
I think that's accurate.
Yeah, so
The way I read the law, I defer to Mary Kate on this, but the first item on our policy is not legal. You can't just have a quorum stop by and sign it whenever they want.
Well, when we were, I mean, I think that wasn't something we were doing. I think it was just during COVID when we were using the drop loop to sign it. We were signing without
I guess
a meeting or, yeah.
Yeah, my point in bringing that up was we probably ought to revise that and pull the first out of the policy at some point.
Well, or have it say in the process of a duly warned select board meeting.
Yeah.
So I'd move to authorize the select board chair to sign, to examine and sign draw orders.
Would you consider?
I'll second that, John.
Yeah, all right.
Go ahead. What are you thinking?
I was just thinking that you could broaden that to any of the officers of the select board, which would be, chair, vice chair, and secretary.
Yeah, it's probably good to have it broader than just you, because if something can't do it.
I was going to offer as an amendment that we need more than one person in case somebody's not available anyway. So.
Yeah, you have to have more than one person.
Yeah. So if you would.
I'll amend that.
All right, thank you.
Wait, what are we amending it to?
Any officer?
Any officer of the select board.
Okay.
Second by Bill.
Thank you. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 And opposed and abstentions. All right, thank you.
Yeah, and Steve, while we're on it, maybe
Yes.
we probably need it on the next agenda, but I think it probably makes sense what John was suggesting in terms of amending our policy
Yep.
on the first. So if we can put that on the next agenda, we can get that done.
Okay. Phew. All right. Let's see. We have A highway equipment note, we finally got a quote for that additional $76,000 that we owe on the truck not yet delivered. The snowplow that has yet to see snow that we ordered a year ago in October.
Now wait,
meant to ask Ben about that.
it may come.
Yeah, well, in any case, apparently it is headed our way. And we got 2 quotes.
I like the interest rate, Steve. Was that going to save us some money in the end? That must
Yep.
be better than what was anticipated.
The interest rate's okay. And actually, if Kathy Nolan was here, she'd remark on it. You'll notice that it's Community Bank that we're getting these loans from, and yet we do our banking with Citizens Bank, and Citizens Bank won't even give us a quote for a loan. So we may be shifting banks. You could see on this, it's cheaper if they have our general fund deposits.
Right.
So anyway.
Yeah, but has anybody made the announcement to Citizens Bank that there's somebody else out there? Because I have Citizens Bank, and with my business loans,
Yeah.
I made these remarks, and they accommodated me on that.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's none of my business. I'll let the treasurer and the assistant treasurer thrash it
I
out.
agree. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, not me. In any case, I'm sorry.
I'll describe it to Bill in my passing with him on the other issues.
That'd be perfect. I think he's not he's pretty lazy when it comes to getting bids from different banks. I think I'm busy. He's either lazy or overwhelmed. I think it's probably the latter.
All right.
All right.
So in order to get the general fund deposit accounts, we'd have to switch to them prior to taking out the loan?
Yeah, it's not worth it. It's just it's a quarter point, but it's still a quarter point.
No, but in the future.
Yep.
So you could always ask them if you signed the note with the 275 now, but within a year you switch to general fund deposits, would they then drop the balance of the note?
Yeah, we could do that.
Worth asking.
Worth asking is right. This is something that we're doing for the bond as well. This shows our current debts and years that we've got left to pay. This is the last year that we're paying on the dump truck, the White Star dump truck, $43,000. We have an option to pay either 3 years or 5 years. It's $15,000, a little over $15,000 a year to pay for 5 years. I didn't do the math. It's pretty easy to find it. It's probably be about $18,000 or $19,000 to do it in 3 years. And of course we could use something from the capital equipment fund, but I would rather not.
I'm thinking we already used a big chunk from the capital equipment fund on this truck. I think we ought to finance the balance.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree.
Didn't all of our initial payment come out of the capital equipment fund?
It did.
Yep.
So is there I guess the question I'm asking is, do you want a 3-year loan or a 5-year loan?
I can see advantages to both. The advantage of the 3-year is we've got other vehicles and capital expenses we're going to have to be paying, but and so getting this done in 3 years would be good. On the other hand, there's some, who knows, with some tight money over the next, with people out of work and all that over the next year.
Yep. Yeah, the first real bond payment's gonna show up in 2021. That's part of our budget. Anyway,
Yeah.
What was the year on that grader replacement?
well, he had it for like 2021.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, we always say, well, we're gonna replace it in 15 years, but we often push that out a year and another year and another year.
I guess my reason I asked was it sure would be nice if this thing were dying the year we needed to replace that. If we were paying this one off when we're faced with financing a big new.
Yeah.
I mean, normally I'd say go for 5 years because it's an asset that's going to last us 10.
Sure.
But
Yeah. What are you leaning towards, Steve?
I lean towards the 5. We've always done 5 years, except for that White Star dump truck. And we were temporarily wealthy, and we were running a surplus and stuff. And she said, "Let's go for 3 years." And I was like, "Oh!" And it was like $43,000. Let me see if I can. I'm going to excuse me for a moment, and I'll just come over here and we'll just do a loan calculator. I'm forever.
Won't 3 years be more like 26,000 a year?
Yeah, do you have that, Bill? You could probably bring that up faster than I can.
No, I can't do it while I'm here.
what's the purchase price? Or what's the amount to be financed?
$76,000.
76,000. I've got an old mortgage calculator here.
Yeah, except that
Can't use a mortgage calculator.
right.
Yeah.
Because it's one payment.
Amortization.
It's
Right.
What?
One payment a year, it's not an amortized note.
Right. It's annual APY payback every year.
What was the interest rate?
2.75. You're right. $26,000, more or less. 26.7 is what
For 3 years.
yeah, 3 years.
No, let's do 5 years.
Yep. All right. Let's see. Cancel. Yeah, you go away. Go away.
I mean,
Yeah. The mortgage calculator works. You just got to multiply your monthly payment by 12 and you're in the ballpark.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's for 3 years. I got like 26,000 and change.
Yeah. Let's see. So there's a number of things that I have to sign for this.
Do you have to start with a resolution?
I do. And so I was going to bring that resolution up. So there's a resolution promising to pay Community Bank, $76,765 and no cents at 2.75, commencing April 28th. That's tomorrow. Yep.
so Steve, I just have a question. Sometimes, banks, like things to everybody to have original signatures. Have you talked to them about,
I have not. I
yeah.
have not about whether we can do this electronically or not.
Well, why don't we could do the motion here. We could sign electronically and you could have a printed out copy sitting at the town hall just in case they won't accept that. The other thing we might be able to do is send we email out a copy and each of us sign it individually and give them 5 copies. We do that for work all the time.
Yeah. I suspect that they'll be okay with an electronic copy, but we'll find out.
Okay, sounds good.
So you were reading, Steve, the note. Don't we have to vote on the resolution before?
Yep. Here's the resolution. Highway equipment borrowing. I can read that for you if you want.
Oh, no, sorry.
No need.
I've got it in front of me, and I move that we approve the resolution for highway equipment borrowing.
I'll second that. Mary
Good.
Kate.
Mary Kate, thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving the Town of Moncton resolution on highway equipment borrowing, please indicate by saying aye.
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 And opposed. Motion passes unanimously. This I don't even think I need. Look at that.
Bill, I missed the last part of your motion, but is it what Steve reiterated back, that it was just the resolution for highway equipment borrowing?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Thank you.
There's also, why we, the treasurer and at least the majority of select board hereby certify and represent that payable entire amount.
Is this something the bank is requiring us to sign?
Yeah,
or-
they're requiring, I think if I read this properly, I mean, 16 is the note is declared to be a qualified obligation under section 265, I think means that it's tax exempt. Yep. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I would, I guess,
Looks like
entertain a,
all the provisions required to certify that you're tax exempt or that you're using it for tax exempt purposes.
exactly. So I'm going to entertain a motion to sign a tax certificate on highway equipment borrowing.
So
So
move,
moved.
John.
Second by Bill.
All right. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? And abstentions. All right. Finally, we can go back up here and sign the highway equipment note, loan number 618-00000065.
I move that the select board approve signing the note and also approve the treasurer signing the note.
Second, this is John.
Okay. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 And opposed,
Can I ask that we include the dollar amount in the motion?
please.
I'm fine with that. I move that we approve the select board signing the note and the treasurer signing the note in the total amount of, well, it's not on here, where is it?
It is
Oh,
76.
$76,765.
There you go.
76. Where is it? Point your.
Seven-
Oh, geez,
seven-
76,765. Okay.
And I'll
Thank you.
second that.
So just a matter of form on that. I think the treasurer does his own due diligence and we don't really.
Exactly.
For
We
him.
can't really authorize it. We can't tell the treasurer to do anything. Although we will, I
Not
guess,
yet.
starting next year or something. But yes. Okie dokie.
So the motion needs to not have the treasurer, and it does have the dollar amount, which was what Bill just moved. Since this is all being recorded, we had a motion and a second on the revised thing. We should
That sounds
probably have-
great. All those in favor of approving the amended motion, please indicate by saying aye.
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 And opposed.
Wait a minute, so what was the amended motion? You're taking the,
Take the bit about the treasurer out and put the dollar amount in.
okay.
Whew. Let's see, we're down to appointment of agent to sign Naylor and Breen change orders. This is, John rightly pointed out that we took an action in our last meeting that was not really warned on the agenda. And we kicked it up to an actual agenda item on this for this meeting, and we'll take it up. And this was trying to at a point we thought that there were some cases where Naylor and Breen would have a change order during the process of construction, where we needed to appoint an agent, somebody who could make that signature happen in between select board meetings. I'll also tell the board that, and I put in your packet, that there's a number of permit applications that I've been asked to sign that just showed up, came across my desk late Friday, so they did not make it on the agenda. I'll ask for opinions. I was going to ask for opinions on that under other business. But
So I can read the same motion that we made in our last meeting if we want to do that motion now that it's been warned.
Good.
I can make that motion now.
yeah, please.
I move to designate Steve Pilcher, Select Board Chair, as the agent to review and approve change orders with Naylor and Breen.
Second.
We should have an alternate.
I don't think necessarily for this we need an alternate quite as much because it's,
If
Yeah.
Stephen is indisposed, we have to have an alternate.
they can wait. Well,
Or we
They
can
could
appoint.
wait. We wouldn't have to appoint them
Oh,
first.
no. That's not the way it works, Mary Kate. That's not the way it works. The people are going to have a change order to move forward. If Stephen is not available for one reason or another, not just now, but down the road, we can't all vote on something that if he's unable to do it, we have to wait 30 days for us to reconvene to do it.
Well, for whatever it's worth, I mean, we could always hold special select board meetings. We only need 24 hours notice for special meetings, but.
No, that's fine.
No, I
I'm
agree.
just saying that this is a long-term progress. This is not just tomorrow, the next day, or
Yeah.
next day. It's a year and a half from now, 2 years, who knows?
Oh, please, not 2 years.
My question is, would anybody else be comfortable enough with what is going on to actually sign off on something like that? I know that I would not,
Why not, John?
because I don't know enough about what's going on with the building. I'm not keeping up to it on a day-to-day basis. So I'm not going to sign off on a change order without information from somebody other than Naylor and Breen just coming and saying, I need this.
Well,
I sort of
Steve's
concur
on the
with
building
John.
committee.
Yeah, I concur with John on it. I was thinking if there was an alternate, the alternate would have to speak to people on the building committee to get guidance.
all right. Well, I will defer to the group, but just making it known that it could be an issue, that's all.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
definitely we'd have to call a special meeting if Steve's not available.
No,
Yeah,
okay,
we'd
that's fine.
probably want building committee members at the meeting.
No,
Yeah,
it's just a thought. There's always a second command on some decisions like
Yeah.
this.
Yep.
I don't want Stephen to be the only one
yeah,
having to suffer through all of it by himself. If he's the only one that knows how to do this, then we have a problem within our board.
Yeah.
well, our board as a whole normally would approve this.
Well, no, I'm just giving you an example of the fact that not one person should have all the knowledge.
Yeah,
And yeah.
All right, that's all I'm saying.
No, that's fine. And I do want to make the board aware that there's basically a working group. It's myself, Will Bound, who I think is known to the committee. He's been to several of our meetings, and then Chris from Bellwether, Chris Huston, and Tana Romero of Naylor and Green, and we communicate on at least a weekly basis currently.
so I would, when I said I personally would have a problem, I don't have a problem if somebody else is comfortable enough.
Sure, that's
Paul, if you feel comfortable, that
I
you
know
can
the building
hack in
is-
and have a conversation with the building committee and then be comfortable signing with it.
No,
That's fine.
no. I'm just saying, yes, I am comfortable following up on Naylor and Breen. I've worked with them before. I'm familiar with the entire structure. I have done large projects much bigger than this. But all I'm saying is, and I don't have any problems getting involved in it, but I'm on this subject. We could probably have a meeting if something goes wrong, if Stephen is not available. I agree. So I'm just giving it some insight, that's all. So we can move on.
okay. Great. Let's see. So I believe I have a motion. Was there a second to that, Betsy?
I think so.
Somebody ought to, just in case, so we don't miss it.
I
Sorry, yes, I
second the
have,
motion.
yeah, I was gonna say, I think I have Bill down as seconding it.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yep.
Is there any more discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And abstentions. Against, say nay. And abstentions. Sorry, it's getting late. Let's see, new town offices and library status. So we have applied for to use the well as our what's called a transitory non-community water source, a TNC well. We've contacted Kevin Brennan, who's the attorney for the Moncton Ridge Church Association, to draft a shared use agreement with us. There's also a number of, we have a wastewater landowner signature sheet that's got to be done. There's a couple of other permits that we're working on. We continue to, the electric and mechanical and plumbing design process is well underway, and really I should put up a new set of plans up on the website for the new town offices and library. It's an interesting time to be working. We are getting a lot of attention because we are essentially a fully funded project in a time when there's not a lot of those around. We hope the bond looks like it's actually going to go forth, which is great. The current bond rates, according to Forbes, the municipal bond rates are, the 10-year bond rates are like under 1%. I don't think we're going to get anything like that, but we may get a decent rate, which would be really exciting. We're still shooting at shovels in the ground in August. The drill person, they come out. This is a geotech engineer. They basically they drill down through the soil, looking for how well the soil can support the building, where bedrock is, et cetera, et cetera. There's those of you that have driven past the site will notice the flags. That's where the drilling is going to occur. With the new changes from the governor, he will be out there on May 13th or 14th to do that work. I don't know what else I have for you. Yes.
So Steve, it's Mary Kate. I know there's been some people around town wondering about, well, should we go ahead? Should we not go ahead? I just want to say that in addition to the bond rate hopefully being lower, that as part of this project, we'll get reimbursed for monies that we had spent up front through the bond, and our tax rate will actually be lower during this next year while people are affected by the COVID-19 than it would be if we weren't going forward and getting reimbursed for all those fees that we've already paid.
That's absolutely true. I mean, if we roll those expenses into the bond, which we fully intend to, we signed a notice of intent to do exactly that back in February, it seems to me, January or February. The actual tax rate would be a penny less than what we declared in the select board report. At least a penny less. John, you're on mute.
So if we don't roll it in, what I wanted to clarify here is if we don't roll it in, that doesn't mean we're at the rate warned. We're going to be higher than that rate, aren't we?
It depends on well, we have $100,000 in the municipal building fund.
Yeah.
So wherever that cutoff is, the path that I'm going down with the treasurer at this moment is we've created a separate account, very much like what we did for the Salamander crossing. This allows us to, all the invoices get dumped into the same place. It's easy for us to go back to the Vermont Municipal Bond Bank and say, here are the charges. Here are the invoices that we'd like to be, we'd like to get reimbursed.
Yeah.
Reimbursed for. I haven't charged stuff directly to the municipal building fund. I thought we would make a decision about how much of the municipal building fund to pay for what expenses, sort of at the end of the year when we're finishing up the year. It may be possible if the building, currently we're under budget. If the building continues to be under budget, and we get to a place, I can conceive of, I don't know whether we could do this or not, but I could conceive of having a little bit of extra money left over in the municipal building fund that we could use to pay, the higher interest payments that we'll have for the first year or two as we go forward on paying the bond down. But anyway, we'll see.
Can I ask just a quick question for the minutes? I'm sorry. So
Sure.
Mary Kate, you mentioned the property, something about the reimbursements. I'm sorry, I missed that part. The money we've, oh, you're muted.
Yeah, just that, money we've already spent, we can roll into the bond,
Okay.
and that'll give us, lower our tax rate.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was one thing I wanted to get in the minutes because enough people are asking it.
Yeah.
That if we can point to, just look at the minutes, it was confirmed that if you're worried about saving taxes in this year, which is what everybody's harping on Front Porch Forum, if you're worried about that, if you hit pause on the bond, your taxes will be higher this year than they would otherwise be.
Yeah, I would say may be higher, depending on when we would hit a pause. I mean,
I think a lot of the people that are on Front Porch Forum that are describing these issues, we would not understand that concept.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's sort of like, no, I think it becomes more important to provide them with some assurances that we're on budget. That's about it.
well, so, in the select board report, we make a calculation about what the tax rate is going to be. And we hold to that. We haven't violated that tax rate unless something catastrophic were to happen. Right? We gave them a budget. They voted on a budget. That's the deal.
Oh yeah, but you're not telling me. I know that, but
I know that, but
I'm just saying that there's people that are probably more concerned about paying their taxes this fall than they are about anything else.
Yep.
It doesn't matter whether it's the building, it's the school taxes, it's everything.
Sure.
That's all I'm saying.
No.
That's what they're worried. That's what they're all worried about. That's what you can hear in their voices.
And at this point, I don't think they care whether we're on budget or not. I mean, obviously they care, but that's not what they're worried about. What they're thinking is, if we stop, my taxes will be lower this year.
And that's not true.
Well,
and it's not true.
No, you're right.
Because we have expenses we've already committed that we'll need to cover somehow.
Right, but the people I spoke to in person are not the people on Front Porch Forum that we're all discussing. They know this. The problem is that you're going to have this visibility issue on Front Porch Forum that creates this negative feedback for a lot of people that don't understand it and aren't willing to get involved. And I think we need to sort of just say, well, read the minutes of the meetings. We'll find that everything is really not that bad at all.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, you really do have to. You have to understand. We have to dumb it down a bit.
Yeah. Anyway.
John, just make sure it's clear when I send it to you before you upload it, so it's not confusing. Thank you.
There you go. Emergency Management Director, I really have not done anything over the past 2 weeks. There hasn't, the good news is that the number of new COVID cases continues to be in the single digits, which is great.
Great news.
Yep. I have review of budget status in here, but I did not get another budget status, and really it's 9 o'clock at night, and I'm not prepared to look at it.
Do we know who iPhone is for minutes?
I do not know.
No.
Can we ask them to speak up?
Yeah. Hello?
Somebody calling in on the iPhone. Can you tell us who you are so we can enter you as present in the minutes? Well, I guess not.
I can remove them.
Well, just say, I wouldn't remove them in case it's a legitimate listener. We'd just put in the minutes, unidentified iPhone caller.
Okay.
I agree.
Oh,
They're
gone.
gone.
No, no, they're still here. Okay. John, you had some stuff on infringement of right-of-way on Jockey Lane?
Yeah, Sharon dug up a half-inch thick stack of papers that's maybe everything the town has on Jockey Lane. Nothing I saw in there was the actual, the gold mine that the lawyer was hoping for, which was the original road survey when it was laid out. I delivered that stack to his office today, kept a copy myself, so if he has questions, we can walk through it together. I think the next step is going to be talk to somebody at the county courthouse and see if they have any record of that. I'm not sure that we'll have any luck. As it turns out, the complainant's daughter works for V-Trans. She says there's hardly anybody in the office, so we're not going to have much luck right now getting information from them.
Freaks me out 'cause you look so different with your hair like that.
Okay.
Having that makes any legal case much simpler.
Right.
All right. Thanks for your work on that, John.
Yeah.
So I gave a little bit of thought to the road reclassification. This is John Howard, Town Highway 36. And I was like, oh, we should get started on that. We can go do a site visit, et cetera, et cetera. My problem is I'm not sure that I'm comfortable doing a hearing over Zoom. And I sort of thought that I would ask the board their opinion.
Once you do a site visit, that puts us on a hard timeline, doesn't it?
As I recall.
I'd hold off.
Yeah.
Yep.
We better be sure that we can move ahead with the hearing before we do the site visit, or we're going to get caught up in that timeline.
Yep. Okay. And Mary Kate was good enough to draw up a draft credit card policy. I didn't get very far on it, Mary Kate. I apologize.
No worries.
Um,
So we can work on that in the next couple weeks and get it on the agenda maybe for next time.
Yeah, that'd be great. Hopefully next time we'll have a much easier agenda. These 2-hour meetings are tough. Is there any other business to come before the board?
I have a quick one. We have the person living on the corner of Old Stage Road and Parks Culvert.
Yes.
Planted a row of trees or bushes. They're currently only 6 feet high. But when they grow up, if they grow more than 2 or 3 feet high, it's going to be a severe sightline impingement on that intersection as you're traveling south on Old Stage and trying to continue straight onto Parks Culvert. Also, the line of trees they've or whatever they are have planted is right in line with the stop sign, so you won't see the stop sign at all when you're coming down Old Stage Road once it goes up.
So they're well in the line of our right of way.
I haven't measured the distance yet. The stop sign's kind of set far back from the center line of the road just because it's a real soft corner, a big radius corner in there.
Yeah.
But I believe they are. So I wanted to bring it up because, well, the select board should also know the current owner has already griped to Ben about you're destroying my property. When you plow the road, it's destroying my nice new plants I planted. And Ben's like, there's nothing we can do about that. When we plow snow, the snow goes off the edge of the road. I offered to talk to them about it and just wanted to let the select board know, and we can't really take official action since it wasn't warned, but I'd like to unofficially talk to them and say, hey, if these things are plants that are going to grow more than a couple feet tall, it's a problem.
Yeah.
And may be required to cut them down. It's going to be a lot easier to transplant them now than wait till they're full grown and the select board says either move them or we'll cut them down.
Yeah.
So I wanted to let you know, and if nobody has any objection, I'll have a conversation like that with the landowner.
John, I think
Yeah.
that is a fabulous idea, because that occurred to me 10 years ago. And they sent a select board member who they knew would appease me. So, knowing your personality, I would suggest that what you do is do just that. Go down and in the friendly way that you are, and suggest that maybe they might think about this. And that's what happened to me. And believe it or not, most people know me. I'm tight, and I still gave way because of the way it was approached by one member, not the board.
Yeah.
So I agree with that.
Well, and also we're talking to them before it's to the point where we have to take any official action. It'll be several years at least. Or they may tell me, oh, this is a plant that only grows 2 feet high. And I'll say, great, problem solved.
No, I agree 100%. Let's do it your way.
Okay, great. Any other business?
Time and date.
Yep, time and date of
Next
our
one
next
would be
meeting, May
May
11th.
11th.
Yeah, May 11th, 7 o'clock. I'm sure that one will be remote as well. But Lord willing, maybe the one after won't be, but we'll see.
Hey, the one after it's a day off school. They'll be relieved to hear that. I keep announcing to Patty each morning, today's an A day, today's a B day.
Wait a minute. Why is May 12th the day off school?
No, the one at the meeting after that.
Oh, the meeting after. Sorry.
Yeah. The meeting after that is May 25th, which
that's
is the
Memorial
day
Day.
they were scheduled.
Memorial Day.
All right. I guess I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Bill.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? And abstentions. We are adjourned. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Steve.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.